Hello guys, YouTubers, GSV peeps, etc, etc. Hello Kitty as well if you're watching this. This is something a little bit different. I thought I would put together a video because of a technical nature, because I was chatting to a bloke in a pub the other day, like you do, and he was saying that he had problems with trying to record things in resolution. There are certain games, and I have had it myself, and I told him this, something like Oxygen Not Included, for instance, where it's insisting on recording on a different resolution to actually what you're playing it, and it's very, very annoying, particularly when you're trying to string it together and put it onto YouTube. And you've probably seen some of this. If you have to look back through some of my Oxygen Not Included videos, you'll see that I haven't done it very well. In fact, I haven't done it at all. I've just left them as the 4:6 ratio. Some of the problem might be, and listening to him, he's got the same sort of setup as I got, is you have a little side screen, a little side monitor here, and you have a big main monitor. As you can see, the little side one here is at 1280 by 1024. This one here is at 1920 by 1080. But mine primary is that one. I quite sort of like it that way round. It plays games on the secondary monitor, no problem at all, but that's just the way it is, and it's because of the way the screens are set out. If I take my mouse over to the other screen, it moves across because that's the side of the screen it is. I don't really want to swap them over because I have problems with light reflections, and my desk. Oh, one day I ought to put up a picture of my desk, but it's tucked away in a little corner between a window and a piano, and it's sort of offset. It's relatively comfortable to sit at, but it's not particularly spacious. Anyway, getting off topic and rambling as I have a tendency to do. Let's have a look at, get back on topic. So as you can see, 1920 by 1080, that's generally what I tend to play my games in as such, and 1280 by 1084, that's sometimes what they record themselves in. In fact, if I look back at the video I'm recording now, this will be recording in 1280 by 1024. Now the recording software I use is GeForce's own. It's the GeForce Experience or Shadow Play. I think it's brilliant. It's not particularly resource hungry. It doesn't slow anything down. It comes free with the higher end, or not even the higher end now, graphics cards. So pretty much anybody can grab it if they're using an NVIDIA card, and it's really good. But again, if I look at what we've got recorded here, you can see that this recording up here, which is a little Sea of Thieves clip, which I've done when the beta was playing, which I think it still might be playing, but it'll be finished by the time I end up putting this video up, is at 1024 by 1280, not at the resolution I was playing it at, which was 1920 by 1080. So what we need to do, well, there's a couple of things we need to do really. I mean, I can put it into a video converter. Down here I'm using for VideoSoft Video Converter, which is a little freebie thing which I picked up off of daily free software website. I can't remember, I'm trying to remember to put the link down in the YouTube there, where they give you a free piece of software every day. Some of it's useful, some of it's not so useful. It's worth keeping an eye on though. And so you can bung that straight into there. I can convert it from 1280 to 1920, and that works absolutely fine. But it does take time, particularly when you've got an hour-long length and you've got to convert it into this before you can actually play with it. And something like Oxygen Not Included, for instance, where sometimes it's recording it in 1920 by 1080 and the other one is doing it only by 1024, it's just a bit of a pain to play around with. So the other way I do it, I'm going to quit out of that. Do you want to quit? Yes. And is by converting it straight into the video software. Now I'm using Video Studio X10 by Corel, or Coral, however you pronounce it. And you can see here, actually what I have is, I don't know what that is. Let's get rid of that for the minute. Do you want to delete that thumbnail? What I have here is, actually there's a couple of, I don't know quite what that's doing there either. Okay, we'll delete that as well. What I have here is my intro, which is recorded and set at 1920 by 1080, and this little clip here, which I've just shown you, is recording at the 4:6, if you like, ratio. And if I put it into here, you can see that's generally what I was doing, just shoving it into here, saying, oh well, but it doesn't look right. And I'm not a perfectionist by any long stretch of the means, but I see. Okay, so you want to stick it back in there. Do you want to delete the thumbnail? Yes. Do you want to get rid of that one? Yes. So, and you can see that my little intro, if I play this little intro here, you have to excuse the loudness of the noise there. Let's say it's playing at full screen. So I'm going to split. I'm going to get rid of the audio on that for the minute. Where's audio? I'll split audio and we'll delete that off. So that now should be playing at quiet speed. There's a number of ways of different doing this, but the trick is to take your clip and stick it in the overlay. Now I could butt it up like this. It's just straight on. Now being an overlay, I can move it around like you can other overlays, and I can fit to screen. That was a right-hand click. There's probably other ways of doing it, but right-hand click's just. And now you can see it fits to screen, no problem at all. I'm going to take the audio off for this for the minute as well, because we don't necessarily want to listen to myself babbling away about Sea of Thieves. Hello guys, blah blah blah. And if we just play this quickly between one and the other, you can see that I can. Yeah, it'll go from between the one clip into the other clip. I can put a crossfade in between them, like that. Let's bring that across there, he says. So we can have a crossfade in between them as well. Now I can play that as well. And that works just as well. That works, you know. The other way of doing it, if you want to put everything onto the same line because it's just easier to work with, particularly when it comes to working with crossfades, and you'll see this in a minute, what we'll do is let's go undo and undo that and edit, undo that. Oh no, I want to redo that. Get rid of the audio again. Is what I can do is I can shove this one down onto here as well. Alright, so now I have the clip butting onto the overlay. This also needs fitting to screen, and if I wanted to, I can just put a fade in that, and that works just as well like that. Well, I've lost my train of thought now, but generally, yes, that is how I've been working with something like this, which works with everything is in this small 4:6 ratio resolution. So what I'm going to do is we're going to take, let's get rid of that, and we're going to take our little intro and we're going to leave it up here. Come on, leave it up here. There we go. And what we'll do is we'll get rid of that one as well. We'll do what I normally do. If you're not too worried about fades and such like, we'll clip that into there like that. And we will change that to fit to screen. And I'm going to make this a little bit bigger. Now, let's say I've got a number of clips that I want to fit in. I mean, my outro is also in the 16:9 ratio anyway, so I don't necessarily want to put it down to here and mess around with it too much, so I can leave that up there. If you do that, if I put the outro here, what it wants to do is butt up onto the main timeline up here. The easiest way of doing that, let's just get rid of that, is by putting in one of these, or just a JPEG. So I can put a still in and tally that up to that, which means that when I'm putting my outro in, it fits straight to the end there, and I can make them, mess around with the lengths and put in the fades and everything else I need to do. It's a little bit fiddly, but it's certainly better than trying to convert each clip. But yeah, you can shuffle this along so you don't get, but you can see the JPEG is behind the overlay, but the overlay opaqueness is set to, I can't remember whether you have to set it to 0% or 100% off the top of my head. Have a play with it and see what you find. Last thing I just want to show you is if you want to put another overlay in this, and I've done with this with a couple of videos, so I want to put a little picture of a compass or something up there. In this case, I'm going to use my little outro. If I do a track below, I'll find if you put a track below in, it sets the opaqueness for you already anyway. So, but now I can put say my little intro or outro there as such. Let's take the audio off of that for a start so you can hear what I'm saying. And this, like you can any other overlay, you can make it bigger, smaller, whatever you want. So let's just shove it up in that corner there. So imagine that's a compass or something I want to put up there. I can now press play and you'll see that it quite happily will nest overlay functions on top of another, just like that. There are other ways of doing this. Don't believe me, this is probably not the most professional way of doing it, and loads of people are perhaps going to say down in the comments that yeah, you could do it this way, you could do it this way. I just found this is the easiest way to do it, and I thought I'd share it with the bloke. I'm going to call him Bill because he didn't want mentioning on the video, but you know who you are, and this is how I do it. I hope that helps you. I said most video software has got the same sort of, or most decent video software has got the same sort of setup down below, and you should be able to do the same sort of things. I hope you enjoyed the video, guys. If you like, I say, please hit the like button. Please subscribe. I am trying to get up to 1,000 subscribers simply because that's the way YouTube partnership works. And I will see you all in the next one.